Good evening, good morning, happy Valentine's Day, happy holidays. It is time for season 2, episode 58 of the Filling de Blanc holiday special. I hope you have everything you need to enjoy this day, so let's enjoy it together. I want to say thank you to Anne Hathaway for her movie Eileen, and God bless her children. Thank you to Paris Hilton, for what reason I do not know. Thank you, Paris Hilton, for Kim Kardashian. Is that what we are doing? She has a TV show which I would not watch. And then we have Baz Luhrmann. I do not know who the hell that is either. I think he's a German director of an opera music or something. So enjoy the show. Make sure to like this video if you love me. But if you don't love me, to dislike the video. And tell all your friends about Jesus Christ and how much he loves us. All right. I'm going to go vomit now, as I think I have an illness. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Without further ado,
Barrack Opera House. Tickets at joffrey.org.
Let's talk about pumpkins. What do you do with your leftover pumpkins? Just playing.
Yeah! It's live with Kelly and Mark. Today, Academy Award winner Anne Hathaway. Plus, the series Paris in Love, Paris Hilton. Also, writer, producer, and director Baz Luhrmann. All next on Live. And now, here are Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelo. They're still carved up from Thanksgiving. Yeah. Welcome. It's Monday, November 27th, 2023, everybody. It's upon us. This is it. Holiday sweaters, holiday cookies.
Cyber Monday.
Cyber Monday. We were Cyber Mondaying last night.
Yeah, we were, and we're also still Black Friday. It feels like.
Yes, because they extended Black Friday. I don't know if you noticed that. They extended it for those of us that had a house full of young people,
Right.
And didn't get to do anything.
And I feel like they began early. Like they started doing these deals. Early numbers show that customers spent a record $9.8 billion on Black Friday.
Wow.
And they expect another $12 billion on Cyber Monday.
What are they spending the billions on?
TVs.
TVs. Is that your guess, or you know that as a fact?
I don't know. It doesn't say.
I say
Skincare.
I was going to say
Makeup.
I was going to say skincare because I personally.
Yeah.
I personally
$9
spent
billion.
$9 billion. I'm responsible for $8 billion of those dollars on those facial.
Yeah.
Every website had a different facial stimulator. That guarantees. It guarantees that it will make you look like you've hung upside down all of your.
I like it.
Yeah.
You know who's cleaning up their makeup from crying all weekend? Were the people from Ohio State.
Oh.
Sorry.
That's it. Mark is picking a fight early.
Yes.
Go for it. Okay.
Our Michigan Wolverines.
Yes. Go blue.
Beat the Ohio State. What is this? The Buckeyes. Go blue. 3 years in a row. And I got to tell you, we joined the university as parents 3 years ago. So. You're welcome, Ann Arbor. You're welcome. It was nice. It was exciting. Wasn't it exciting?
It was an exciting game. I find that if I walk into a room and hit a position and a touchdown happens, I stay in that position for the rest of the game.
Very superstitious.
So I stood in front of
you. Didn't watch with us.
No,
I stayed downstairs.
I stayed where I was when the first touchdown happened,
Right.
and I never moved. With my foot on the stool, I kept my foot on the stool, and I kept my coffee cup in my hand, and I stood there.
It's fun to watch it when it's that close, isn't it? I was watching it with the boys. 3 guys from the University of Michigan, all wrestlers. They don't know the rules of football.
Yeah.
They were like,
they just think everything is a tackle and a pin.
Like, what's happening? How many points did they get for that tackle? I got no points. No points for the tackle. It was very, very exciting.
They kept yelling 3.
110,000 people in that stadium, the big house, and all of them were on the field afterwards. It felt like all 110,000.
Yeah, it was very, very exciting. I will say this.
Yeah.
In terms of Ohio State, the Buckeye.
I highly doubt that the fucking Michigan wrestlers don't know how many points are a touchdown.
Yeah, it was.
I highly doubt that they're sitting there thinking that a tackle is worth 1 point. He probably said, "Hey boys, can I make a joke where wrestlers are dumb and you don't know how much you don't know the point scoring system in football? I'm gonna call bullshit on you."
Afterwards, it felt like all 110,000.
Yeah, it was very, very exciting. I will say this.
Yeah.
In terms of Ohio State, the Buckeye candy is a delicious treat. So nobody can take that away
Is it
from
chocolate and peanut butter?
Have a delicious, delicious candy.
Yeah.
So,
And then last
congratulations.
night, and then last night.
Say the word nice. It's
Last night,
like a nice chocolate, nice peanut butter.
I turned on the TV and the Eagles are playing. Now,
He's about to take credit for the win.
last week when I turned the game on, they were losing and they won. Last night I turned the TV on in the third quarter. They were losing, and guess what?
Wow.
Thank you, Mark.
Ever since you got your sex
Mark.
change operation, things have been really going good.
And when Mark is your mayor, Philly, just remember.
It's your new vagina.
And this kid DeVito keeps winning from the New York Giants. They keep winning. The guy that lives with his mom.
Oh, he sounds like
The
a
Giants
sweetheart.
beat the Patriots 10-7, an ugly game. Now, it's not really in their best interest to keep on winning because now they've dropped down to the 6th pick because the worst team.
Because they were
like the
at the
3rd or
top.
2nd.
Fourth.
Yeah, now they're 6th. But I'm happy for Tommy DeVito.
4th pick, dumbass.
Because the worst team.
Because they were
like the
at the
3rd or
top.
2nd. Yeah, now they're 6th. But I'm happy for Tommy DeVito.
I am too.
Yeah.
And it goes
Jersey boy.
It goes to show the power of living with your parents. He's not worried about
Laundry,
his meals.
Nope.
That stuff is being done.
You don't know
for
that.
him.
That you don't know that.
So,
Mom could be
there
like,
is something
wash
to
your
be
fucking
said.
clothes.
Right.
Having said that,
It does maybe.
I was very
throw a wrinkle
excited
in.
when everybody got on the plane
That's
last
BS.
night.
I think that she cooks for him because you're not going to make family dinner and say, "Sorry, Tommy, eat your ramen." But you can't. I don't think she does laundry and stuff for him. I think she just eats family dinner when they all cook, but she's not doing laundry for her grown ass son. She's
Very
not.
excited when
she's not-
everybody got on the plane last night to go
But,
get
yeah.
him.
She's not clearing his room.
Because
But being the quarterback of the New York Giants, living with your mom, it might throw a wrinkle into your dating life just a little bit.
why do you say
Why?
that?
He can afford a hotel.
You're the quarterback. You win. You go out, have a good time. Maybe you meet someone. What's happening?
You go to a fucking hotel because he makes $45,000 a game. Stupid.
You go back to her place. Right?
You're right. You're right.
You get a Motel 6.
I mean, that's how I would do it. I'm gonna give you this article. This doesn't really apply to us because we had so many people in the house this weekend that we don't have any leftovers. But if you have Thanksgiving leftovers,
Oh yeah, tell us.
today is the last day you can consume them
Safely?
Safely. And also, by the way, do you know how much later? So they say that your Thanksgiving food should be put away within 2 hours of cooking and eating, and within 3 to 4 days of being refrigerated. Okay.
2 hours. That's
2 hours. That stuff was out for, our stuff was out. Our food was out for 18 hours. Yeah, well, I'm just going to say
we told,
and then I put it away.
We told the boys, we're gonna put it away.
And they said,
no, leave it there. We're gonna come back. We're
gonna come back for it, so don't put anything away. So sure enough, I came down to the kitchen, which looked like bears had ravaged it.
Show us a picture.
I don't mind telling you.
Fingerprints
of food on the cabinet handles. I'm not sure, eating with your hands and then feeling the need to rub.
Well, you could pay Tommy DeVito to come over and clean it up. I'm sure he's looking for a part-time gig as a housekeeper. So you left turkey out from 3 p.m. till 9 a.m. the next morning? You just left it out overnight?
Rummage around in the cabinets for things.
Right.
Just room temperature turkey getting worms and shit?
Eating with your hands and then feeling the need to rummage around in the cabinets for things.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, no, I know.
So there was that, but then I put the food away so many hours. We're lucky that everybody was fine.
They're college kids. They eat stuff that if it doesn't have fur on it, they can still eat it.
Unless it's vagina.
The weather. It's millions of weather during the post-Thanksgiving travel. I know we had some people going back to Michigan yesterday. It was going to be snowing in Michigan. There was a lot of snow and bad weather. Also in Hawaii, there's what's happening. Big waves. Yeah. We have huge waves in Hawaii.
Are there videos?
Do we have videos of that? No, there we go. Yes, there we go. That's me. That's me to the right.
Is that a digital photo?
Yes.
Okay. That doesn't even look like real people.
Yeah, they're 30-foot waves, going up to 50-foot waves in Hawaii. Yeah, so the storms are coming through there as well. Remember that time we went? You did the show in Hawaii.
Yeah, you did the show in Hawaii too.
Did I do it?
Yeah. You were co-hosting with me.
Did I? I just did one show though, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah. Okay.
But you did the surf segment. I did the surf segment. Learn to surf with.
Yeah. Do you remember that day we had the day off and we went to the North Shore and we just watched
the waves?
Is it Pipeline? Is it Pipeline, the North Shore? Is it? I think it is. I think it is. And just sat there with some snacks.
Yeah.
And some beverages and just watched those people surf.
Yes, it was.
And you could hear the thunder when the waves would hit the ground.
Yeah, it was the beach shook when the waves hit the ground. It was it was crazy to see that in real life. Waves as tall as buildings. You know, we're not on the East Coast. A big wave day is like a 6-foot wave and 9 foot.
I'm not sure.
But these are 30-foot waves.
Yeah, real waves. Real waves.
Yeah. Going back to the kids in the house this week.
Yeah.
And them taking off for their flight. One of our kids, he shall remain nameless, came into our bedroom at 11 o'clock on Saturday night.
Yeah.
And said, yeah, the guys and I were talking about it, and we want to push our flight back. They were supposed to leave at 8 o'clock in the morning, and they wanted to push it back until the afternoon. And I looked at him and I said, do you know what day of the year it is? Do you know what time?
Do you know how planes work?
Do you understand how air travel works? Anyway, we were actually able to secure 3 seats on a later flight by a miracle.
Middle seats. They had middle
seats.
They all had middle seats.
They were like, oh, middle seats. I was like, you don't get to complain. You get to say thank you that you're on the plane. But the night before, they had gone out and they decided to play paintball
in Brooklyn.
And they come home covered in welts and paint. Covered in paint. Some of these people did not bring jackets with them, so they were wearing our jackets, which were covered in paint. And I said, all right, go take that stuff downstairs. I'll wash it. I'll treat the stains. I'll wash it. I go downstairs. They wanted to be helpful and proactive, so they put all of the clothing, whites, darks, towels, coats, together in one vat.
That's how they do it in college.
Laundry. I know.
Everything's gray.
Did you see how it all came out?
Yeah. Great.
So all of our belongings are now tie-dyed with paint. Sunday afternoon could come fast enough for me.
Thanksgiving.
Thanks for stopping by, guys. See you later. We've got a huge show today. Anne Hathaway is here.
Also, Paris Hilton is here. Come on. Yeah, let's go. All right.
Get it together, everybody. You know what time it is. It's time to play.
Love it. Okay, let's say hello to Scott Kozlowski from Atlanta, Georgia, who watches the show on WSB. Good morning, Scott. How are you?
I am great. How are you, Mark and Kelly?
We're doing great. Are you in that photo? Are you hiking there? Are you in the mountains of Georgia?
No, that was actually in Asheville, North Carolina, the Blue Ridge Mountains. It was like an overlook thing. So it wasn't a lot of hiking, just some picture taking.
Beautiful there, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely gorgeous.
All right, Scott, you know how this game is played. You have given us two statements. One's true and one's a lie. I have 60 seconds to decide which is the truth, and if you stump me, you'll win an all-new holiday mug and the exclusive I Stumped Mark t-shirt.
We should have a holiday t-shirt.
Yeah, Art, why don't we have a holiday t-shirt?
I'm not in charge of t-shirts.
You're not in charge of t-shirts.
We're actually developing a Stump Mark t-shirt for everyone to buy that you don't have to.
Oh, because people want to be able to stump Mark.
Okay. All right, Scott, here are your two statements. I drove a car that didn't go in reverse, or I've been to every NFL stadium. All right. What do you do for a living, Scott?
I work in video production.
Aha. Video production.
Yep.
And what kind of video production? Athletic events?
Yes, that's true.
What do you do? What's the job?
Well, I started out of school. I covered high school sports and kind of graduated into doing college sideline type stuff. And the NFL as well.
And the NFL. Interesting. Oh.
Why didn't your car go in reverse?
Well, I was getting on the interstate one day, and I was probably up to about 45 miles an hour when I accidentally shifted into reverse. My car made a very bad noise, and when I got to my destination, it no longer went in reverse.
You know what they say, Scott? If you can't find them, grind them.
Yeah, I didn't actually check that. I'm going to write that down.
Yes.
All right, Scott. I believe since you're it's hard to believe that somebody would go to all 30 stadiums because there are 30 stadiums. 4 teams share a stadium.
But I didn't necessarily go for sporting events to the stadium.
Well, that's not in the card here. I believe that you've been to every NFL.
Okay. All right. I was just in the laboratory dropping the kids off in the toilet. All right. I just showed up late. I have no idea what questions he asked. So I'm going to do my first impression guess. I drove a car that didn't go in reverse. It just seems odd. I've been to every NFL stadium. Okay. I'm just going to say that, again, like the ballparks, going to every NFL stadium is a thing that people might like to do if they can travel. Driving a car that didn't go in reverse. Well, that could have been like a car that didn't go in reverse while they were like, while he was just like camping, or he had to just like go around the block one time. Okay, first impression guess. I'm going to say it is true that you drove a car that didn't go in reverse. And he just might be a football fan. So football stadium, NFL stadium is a lie. It's true that you drove a car that didn't go in reverse. That's my guess, my first impression guess. No clues necessary.
I believe that you've been to every NFL stadium.
I disagree.
I have not. I drove a car that didn't go over this.
Look at that. No clues, no questions. 10 seconds, common sense and logic. I got it right. This guy got an advantage, got to ask all the questions.
No, you gave me a little more explanation.
Oh, shut up. Now he's making excuses. And then he's going to get like 7 wrong in a row. And then when he gets like 1 right, he'll be like, I'm back. See, I'm good.
You are wrong, Mark.
Seemed like you're going the other direction. No, he gave me a little more explanation on the back. I thought he was trying to trick me up.
You know,
Scott, good job.
you know what?
He
doesn't
gotcha.
need to trip you up. You trip yourself
That's
up.
called stumping you.
Congratulations, you win the mug and the t-shirt. Oh, fantastic. You can win a valuable trip. It's time to fall into the holidays travel trivia.
All right. So now this is the dancing time of the show where I try to imitate our lovely fall for the holidays dancing.
Congratulations, you win the mug and the t-shirt. Oh, fantastic. You can win a valuable trip. It's time to fall into the holidays travel trivia.
So now you can rewind it and see my dancing and give me a grade.
Yeah, did everybody hear that? It sounded like when
1 to 100. How was I imitating this lovely woman? I think I'm getting like a 12.
The bass is kicking
did everybody hear that? It sounded like when your speaker breaks in your car. Today's trivia dancer is Cindy Cohen from Finalson, Minnesota.
Cindy in the house. I love you, Cindy.
You've been planning this trip for 25 years?
25 years with my mama, who just turned 80, and my sisters, and my precious niece, Samantha.
You made it! You've been planning a trip to New York, not to
New
this
York
show.
City.
Yes, okay.
And you're part of that.
Wanted to be clear on that. Deja,
Yes, we've been wanting to go. Yes, we've been wanting to go see. We've actually started saving money to go see Kelly and Strahan. We wanted to see live with Kelly and Michael, but things have changed, so we settled for Mark.
that wheel to see what else Scott's playing for us. All right, Scott, you're playing for a trip for 2 to the Windjammer Landing Resort in St. Lucia. 7 days, 6 nights. It's all inclusive. It's a prize valued at $9,800. You have 20 seconds and only one guess. Good luck, Scott.
All right, Scott. Last week, we talked with Chris Pine. What type of lessons did Chris say he takes?
He was taking ballet.
Ballet dancing.
Congratulations! You and a guest will enjoy 7 days and 6 nights at the Windjammer Landing Villa Beach Resort and Spa in St. Lucia. Tucked away on a lush hillside along the Caribbean Sea, Windjammer Landing Villa Beach Resort is nestled on 60 acres of St. Lucia's northwest coast. This premium all-inclusive resort features luxury accommodations, gourmet dining, world-class spa services, family programming, and more. Your prize is valued at approximately $9,800.
Scott, congrats.
Thank you so much, guys. That's fantastic.
Don't forget to wear your t-shirt on that beautiful beach. Take a picture of yourself, carrying the mug, put a pina colada in it, enjoy yourself, send it to us so we can troll Mark with it.
Absolutely.
Now you get to make the day of a lucky member of our studio audience.
Well, why would I wear a t-shirt at the beach? That doesn't make sense. I'd be shirtless. If anything, I'll show you a picture of me in my Speedo shirtless drinking like a beer, but I'm not going to wear your t-shirt at the beach. That would just be weird. What's wrong with you? So how about I go shirtless and I just hold the cup up with nothing in it and I tell you there's something in it since you won't be able to tell anyway. How about that, Kelly? 11.
You'll receive a Roomba vacuum cleaner from iRobot.
62.
So please pick a number between 1 and 169.
62.
Let's do 69.
Oh, 69. Sexual intercourse. The connolatio. Bulingus.
Judging by that scream, you really hate to vacuum. Hey, when we return, Anne Hathaway is here. Stick around.
Still ahead. We'll talk with director Luhrmann, reality star Paris Hilton, and coming up next, Anne Hathaway.
You could same old lame joke. Oh gosh, you're really excited. You must hate vacuuming.
We'll talk with director
You guys, you could tell how much people hate vacuuming when they go crazy for a $300 Roomba.
reality star Paris Hilton, and coming up next, Anne Hathaway. When you're ready to be feels
Right.
like.
Yeah, exactly.
Anne Hathaway. Talk about someone who needs a fake tan. They got spray tans too. You could just go buy a spray foam and have some professional, for $150, you could have someone just apply it. You don't got to go tanning. You don't got to do anything. I dated Anne Hathaway for a little bit. She broke my heart. She said I wasn't good enough in bed.
Hope is closer than ever, creating the cures of tomorrow for patients in Northern Illinois. Today, call now.
Michelle syrup.
Girl, we've been around 40 years and you haven't heard of us yet? We're not just a syrup either. We're good over everything.
Is this the new Aunt Jemima, Michelle? Just call me Auntie Shell. And now we're suggesting this is what we're recommending: putting maple syrup on top of barbecue ribs. Is that a thing? Oh, it's a woman-owned
40
business.
years and you haven't heard of us yet?
Okay, so when it's a woman-owned business, she's allowed to call herself the new Aunt Jemima. But as long as a group of old white men aren't doing it, it's different.
We're not just a syrup either. We're good over everything.
Syrup on barbecue sauce?
Look at that. Brunch with your girls.
Nope.
I got you.
Nope.
There you go. You got it. Or cooking a romantic dinner.
No. You're not pouring syrup
Are you hungry?
into a bunch of oil.
In there? Michelle syrup. Good over everything.
Nope.
Tomorrow's show, Jennifer Garner will be here.
Yes, and the man with the softest hands in the business, Brian Gumble, is here.
So true.
Yes.
Soft hands. And a holiday performance by Samara Joy. So that'll be a good Get ready, everybody. She's one of our favorite actresses, and now she's starring in a twisty psychological thriller, soon to hit the big screen. Please welcome back to the show, Anne Hathaway. Nice. They're amazing. Yeah. They're a good crowd. They're excited to see you. How was your Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was fantastic. How was yours?
It was great. Were you here or were you visiting family?
We were out in California. We were hosting.
Oh my gosh.
And we were in a strange vortex. Everything tasted great.
And even
amazing.
the second time around, it tastes even better.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and which made me wonder, I'm like, maybe I do Thanksgiving a day early next year.
Yeah.
Like, get all the cooking done.
It all becomes like a leftover.
Kind
so it's
of.
better the
Whoa.
second day.
Maybe.
That's a
I
good
don't know.
idea.
That's a great
But I'd have
idea.
to also be a different person.
Yeah,
Having that together.
You would have to be two people.
All right, Thanksgiving's over. Are you a Christmas holiday decorations the day after Thanksgiving, or do you wait a little bit?
Am I a Christmas decorations holiday person the next day? God, no. No, I am a lay on the couch, cuddle with my kids, watch football type person.
Speaking of your kids, the last time you were here in person, you were about to give birth to your second
It's shocking that I didn't do it right here.
I know.
It's shocking that you were not my doula.
I would have been a great doula. I would be a great doula.
She would.
Yeah.
Like some weird alternate universe that happened, didn't it?
I do believe that did happen. So, so you went from 1 to 2, and the baby is what? It's got to be
4 tomorrow.
No.
4 tomorrow.
Oh,
That's
wow.
Time, man.
Wow.
It's different. It's different than what you expect.
It's really crazy.
I always tell people that when you're a kid, like if you go back to being a kid, that feeling,
Right.
And you're like, think about what 18 months feels like. That's what like 15 years as an adult feels like.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like that's the conversion rate.
That's true. But it's funny with when you have little ones, it's like you re-experience everything like a kid again, which is
And you also age in 15 years in those 2 years.
Yeah, that's
Not you, but
that's
we.
true. Wait,
It's funny. We were just talking backstage. We said that you two are aging laterally.
I like that. Laterally.
well, for him it's natural, and for me it's a dog fight every day. Not going down without a fight. I just on Cyber Monday purchased 85 face stimulators. If you'd like one.
I bought the other 82.
Very good, very good. So, do you have date nights anymore?
Oh, yeah.
You and Adam get together? Because I feel like we had a group date.
I mean, I say that, and then I'm just like,
Did we?
Yeah, I said that. You said that a little bit too. No, we do. We do. We're good. We've got a good thing. So date nights, but sometimes date nights just feel like sitting.
Yes.
Like when you've got 2 young kids, like just sitting and like looking at each other and knowing that you don't have to say anything.
Right.
And it's good.
They go to sleep, high five.
Yeah. There we go.
Our dream date is watching Judge Judy and then deliberating on the case.
That's amazing.
That's like a dream.
Do you guys ever have a never again date though? We had like, because sometimes
What was your never again?
we had a never again. It was our 9th wedding anniversary.
Okay.
And Adam did something great. He like booked us a couple nights at like a spa hotel, and it was wonderful. And we are in kind of a beautiful but like, kind of crunchy place. And there was a flyer for a sauerkraut workshop. And I was like,
that's a never again for me. Just listening to it.
sauerkraut workshop. And he's like, yeah, no. Like, what?
Right.
Why would we? And I was like, no, it's going to be good for us. We'll learn this probiotic. It's going to be setting our lives up for like the future. And he was like, I'm going to pass and take a nap. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to the sauerkraut workshop. And I went to the sauerkraut workshop, which was basically.
This is an ABC News special report. Now reporting, David Mueller. Good morning, everyone, and we're coming on the air for a somber ceremony as the nation prepares to pay its final respects this week to former First Lady Rose. 100 or
Are you serious? We're gonna fucking live remember Jimmy Carter's dead wife?
somber ceremony as the nation prepares to pay its.
Oh, fine. Hey, you know what? You want to pay remembrance? Go ahead. No one likes you anyway, Anne Hathaway.
Which was basically.
This is an ABC News special report. Now reporting, David Mueller. Good morning, everyone, and we're coming on the air for a somber ceremony as the nation prepares to pay its final respects this week to former First Lady Rosalind Carter, the beloved wife of former President Jimmy Carter. Her life, as his, dedicated to public service and humanitarian work. You can see the motorcade there on your screen.
Poor?
She died at their home in Plains, Georgia on Sunday, November 19th, just a little more than a week ago now. She was 96 years old. Mrs. Carter, suffering from dementia, had just entered hospice care. Jimmy and Rosalind Carter, inseparable throughout most of their lives. Childhood sweethearts, married for 77 years. In fact, the longest married couple in presidential history. The former president, Jimmy Carter, is now 99 years old, describing his wife as an equal partner in everything he ever accomplished. In just a few moments, we'll continue to see the motorcade carrying Mrs. Carter. It will leave Phoebe Sumter Medical Center in Americus, Georgia. There is a brief departure ceremony at the hospital, which we'll see here live. Family members, medical staff have all gathered. Former members of her Secret Service detail will serve as honorary pallbearers. The procession will then go into Georgia Southwestern State University, where there will be a wreath-laying ceremony at the Rosalind Carter Health and Human Sciences Complex. From there, the procession will take her to the Carter Presidential Center in Atlanta, where a private arrival ceremony will take place, followed by a short service for Library, Museum, and Carter Center staff. Mrs. Carter will lie in repose in the Library Museum lobby for public viewing beginning later today. I want to bring in ABC's Steve Osunsami in Americus, Georgia. And Steve has covered the Carters for many years for us. Extraordinarily moving, Steve, and this was a partnership right until the end.
It was. Their partnership was part of their success. You know, there's this saying that success is a team sport. The former president was very open about the fact that his wife was a key part of his success. He often called her his secret weapon. She was active in his administration. She was active in his life post-presidency. They founded the Carter Center together. She was very much a part of that. I'll tell you, David, it's a cold, crisp day here in Americus. The sun is shining nicely on this event. The skies are fairly clear. There are around me what looks to be maybe 100 or so people who are standing outside along the road to get a glimpse of this, to say their final goodbye. We expect to see lines of people today at the Carter Center to give their best wishes to this former First Lady of the United States and, of course, of Georgia. David.
Steve, we know they were childhood sweethearts. They met there in Plains, Georgia. Of course, Jimmy Carter was in the Navy. They married not long after his return, traveled the country, began raising their children. And then he entered politics. In the beginning, a bit of a surprise to Rosalind, but she made it very clear to him along the way that we would be partners in this if you're going to continue to work at this. And she was on the campaign to become president, his election to the White House. And in fact, in many ways, she changed the role of First Lady, had an office in the East Wing, had a full policy staff of her own. That was a first. She held weekly lunches with her husband in the private dining room, where he would ask her, what is your week? What's on your agenda? And she would often ask him after the end of a busy day at the White House, why did you do that? What was the reason behind that? And eventually, Martha Raddatz, he simply said, well, why don't you come to some of these cabinet meetings? And so she did.
She certainly did, David. She had a very powerful role. President Carter said she is an almost equal extension of myself. She wanted to make a difference there in the White House. She wanted to make a difference in the country. Mental health was a very big issue for Rosalind Carter. She also supported the Equal Rights Amendment. She was a strong advocate of that. And when I think about her life, and I think 70 years ago when she moved back to Plains, Georgia, she didn't really want to do that. Jimmy Carter had been in the Navy. She was enjoying a life of some adventure and some independence. And they'll talk about that as one of the most difficult periods of their marriage. Another unusual thing about the Carters, because they were very honest about their marriage. They didn't have this glowing picture that it was perfect all the time, saying no marriage is perfect. But theirs was perfect in so many ways. When she moved back to Plains, Georgia, she said, I don't want to go. And yet she did it. Think about that. 70 years ago, in the 50s, the role of women in the 50s was to be only a wife, only a mother, and only there to support your husband. She did all that as well. There is a great story about her getting up early every single morning for 25 years to make Jimmy Carter a big breakfast of grits and toast and coffee and juice. And then when they moved into the White House, he said, you know what? I just want orange juice. And she said, I wish I'd known that 25 years ago. So she was just an extraordinary woman and really helped change the role of the First Lady of the United States. She was really a fine example, David.
As you know, Martha, we're looking at live pictures now of the pallbearers. And as I mentioned a moment ago, many of them are former members of her Secret Service detail. We saw live pictures there moments ago of the family. Of course, the Carters have 3 sons, Jack, Chip, and Jeff, and a daughter, Amy. We watched her grow up in the White House. The treehouse, the fort built on the White House grounds, 11 grandchildren, 14 great-grandchildren. The family gathered there today, and you can see Mrs. Carter's remains now being brought out as part of this ceremony outside the medical center. In these final days together, and they were the longest living first couple that this nation, surpassing former President George H.W. Bush and Barbara Bush, in the end. And they spent their final days together. And I want to bring in Mary Jordan, ABC contributor, Washington Post reporter. Mary, you spoke with the family about those final moments. And it was so moving for me to read in your reporting that their 2 beds, both of them in hospice, had been placed sort of feet to feet, if you will, so they could prop the beds up and actually look at one another, even in those final days.
And that was Jimmy Carter's idea. Instead of putting them side by side, he said, no, I want to look at her. And so they both were propped up and that they could keep talking and right up until the end. And then when she did pass, Jimmy Carter said to his kids that were in the room, I just need some time alone with her. It's a long time that they were together. I'm so struck by these photos of the Secret Service. I've spent a lot of time in planes, and unlike other, jobs that they have with some of the other presidents, they rotate in and out. But when you went down to planes, what these guys here who are the honorary pallbearers did in the last 20 years was they'd go fishing on the pond outside, or they would, even until a few years ago, help lift President Carter into a pool because he was very avid swimmer and wanted to keep up in swimming. It was a different pace. It was a slower pace, and they really got to know the Carters. And I'm not at all surprised that they all showed up here.
A moving tribute. And Mary, what do we know about the former President Jimmy Carter? You have reported in recent days that he is aware, remarkably sharp at times. I know he's lost a lot of weight. They're making a suit for him, and he's hopeful he can be part of the tributes and services this week.
It's by the hour, but the most recent reports was that he was determined to go to Atlanta. I'm not sure if it's today or for tomorrow's tribute, and then to come back home for the family funeral in Plains on Wednesday. I think a lot of people said they're so close. There's many stories about when one spouse goes, the other one goes quickly. But, he was eating caramel cake that his niece made. He was getting his suit ready for the funeral. And he just said to some, I don't want to disappoint her. I want to show up there. It is something to watch them. I've seen them interact so many times, including recently. And it's you can't overestimate how much time they spent together. They were in this little house that they helped build in Plains, 1961, the same house. I once calculated that the Secret Service vehicle outside the house was worth more than the little house that they lived in. But, this small place, they spent an enormous amount of time together. So it's going to be a shock to the system for Jimmy Carter, who, of course, is 99, and himself in hospice.
That's the extraordinary thing. They defined their roles long after the presidency in so many different ways. Their humanitarian work together, their trips around the world, their push for medical care for communities in places where impoverished communities have very little access to health care. You'd often see them out building for Habitat for Humanity side by side. And as Mary describes there, side by side in the end, you reported that one of their sons, Chip, had shared with you that moment when his father said, could you give me some time alone? with your mother. That was the day before she passed. And then on Sunday, when the sun rose, she was no longer able to speak. And again, he asked for some private moments with his wife of 77 years, tears streaming down his face. And Chip told you, Mary, I believe, that they taught us so many things. You know, Chip is 73 years old, his father 99, his mother was 96. And he said, among the things our parents taught us was grace.
It's he called her Rosie. We had dinner not too long ago, and he'd say, "Come on, kid, come on, Rosie." They were very, very sweet couple. And when you saw them as they grew old, it was kind of hard to believe that they ever lived in the White House. They were not in any way what people would say glamorous or fancy, but they were very smart, very dedicated, and they wanted to make their life count. And they said that many times. That's why they worked against disease in Africa, building homes in America. Of course, Rosalind was really big on vaccinations for children and mental health. And Jimmy, very, very open about, I couldn't have done any of this without Rosalind.
Said she was an equal partner in all that I achieved as we watched this motorcade begin. Mary, our thanks to you. Steve, you know, I listened to Mary as she described the very humble home that they returned to Plains, Georgia to live in. I know you had the opportunity in the last couple of years to visit that home. So many people had asked them along the way, what was their secret? Rosalind Carter once said, space. We gave each other the space, and he certainly gave her the space, is what she said, to explore her own interests and to play a role in a way that we had not seen in the White House. And they shared more with you, though, about the secrets to such a strong partnership, a love affair that lasted until the very end.
They did, and they loved talking to us about it. When we spoke to them last, it was their final interview together with us. It was both Rosalind and the former president. One of the things I remembered was seeing the president light up as he is watching his wife speak and take questions about their love and their relationship and their history. And, you know, you mentioned about their home in the Secret Service. And when you drive past the home, one of the things you notice is that the building that has the Secret Service vehicles looks from the road almost as big as the house, because their house is so small. And that is some of what people have come to love about this couple and about Rosalind, was the old-fashioned charm that their relationship just showed, the togetherness that they have. They talked to me about every night trying to make sure that they do something together. They talked about fly fishing in that pond near that home, and I was surprised that they still did that at the time. They also talked about reading the Bible together every night, and told me that one of their secrets is that they would not go to bed angry, that they would discuss whatever disagreements they had during the day. It was absolutely a beautiful thing to witness, and it's something that I think resonates with so many people who look in on their relationship and just see the joy and the love that they had for each other and how they nourished each other with that love. You know, with Rosalind and the former president, another thing is, you know, they weren't fancy people. I think that's fair to say. Even at the Carter Center, where her body will be headed to this afternoon, they had a small apartment. And they didn't have big things. There was a Murphy bed in the apartment. That's where they slept when they stayed at the Carter Center, in this small little apartment with a Murphy bed that they put down. And they enjoyed the time that they spent together in that small space and in these small spaces. It was such a treat to talk with them and to look in on the joy that they had in their relationship, Dave.
They were an example in so many ways, as you point out, Steve. They often talked about not going to bed, having fought without resolving whatever the disagreement might have been. And they described those disagreements as often minor, and who couldn't relate to that. And on the few times when they weren't together, they would choose the passage of the Bible that they would be reading, knowing that they would both be reading separately the same part from the Bible. That was very rare that they were ever apart. Trips later on in life, perhaps now and then. I want to bring in our chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce. Mary, what do we expect as far as the first family, President Biden, the First Lady Jill Biden, their involvement in these ceremonies this week?
Well, David, we know that the Bidens will be down in Georgia tomorrow for that memorial service there, reflecting and remembering Rosalynn Carter's amazing contributions to the country, but also really just saying goodbye to a dear, dear friend. The relationship between these two families is a true and genuine relationship. This isn't some, DC friendship of political convenience. They are dear, genuine friends, and they have supported each other for decades, really going back to 1976, when Joe Biden, then a young senator, was the first official outside of Georgia to endorse Jimmy Carter's run for president. The two have stayed close ever since, the two families. In fact, the Bidens last visiting the Carters back in April of 2021 at their home in Georgia, spending a lot of time together. President Biden saying it was nice simply to catch up, to talk about the old days. Jill Biden then saying this wasn't about a meeting of two presidents, but actually four friends coming together, spending time together, two couples who've really supported each other for many, many years. And the president reflecting on that relationship in a statement shortly after Rosalynn's passing, talking about her hope, her warmth, her optimism, saying that she walked her own path, but David, that she inspired a nation along the way. And she certainly inspired this president and the Biden family as well.
No question about that, Mary. And in helping to define the role of the First Lady, having her office in the East Wing, her policy staff, people knew at the time as senior advisors within the Carter administration that Rosalynn Carter was the way to her husband in so many ways. And some of the more difficult issues, she had a nickname in the White House at the time, Steel Magnolia. She was revered, respected, but also feared in some ways. And in all of my reading, I read that she didn't mind that nickname, Steel Magnolia, and we know from so many administrations after the Carters that often the First Lady's role, they're all defined a little differently, but that is one key component that senior advisors find the President of the United States often through their spouse.
I think that nickname was one that she wore as a badge of honor. I think you are right about that, David. And she redefined the role and really paved the way for all of the first ladies who have, taken and assumed this office since then. Not just in the way that she supported her husband, but in the issues that she decided to tackle as well. And yes, you are right. Certainly every first lady defines the role in her own way. But it is because of Rosalynn Carter, I think, that you have really seen such a transformation in the way that the East Wing has a lot of power in this building as well, David.
Mary Bruce, my thanks to you. Mary Jordan as well, Martha Raditz, Steve Osensami, the motorcade having left the medical center there in Americus. It will head now to the Carter Presidential Center. It'll arrive early this afternoon there in Atlanta, part of 3 days here where the nation will remember a first lady who helped define the role of a first lady in the White House. She was asked later in life how she wanted to be remembered. And she hoped that her humanitarian work, her work on mental health during her time in the White House would be remembered. And certainly that's just part of a fuller portrait of a first lady that we will honor over the course of the next 3 days. Our coverage will continue throughout the day on ABC News Live, abcnews.com. You can also see Mrs. Carter's memorial service tomorrow and her funeral on Wednesday on ABC News Live. I'll be back with the entire team a little later today for World News Tonight. I'm David Muir in New York. Until then, have a good day. This has been a special report from ABC News.
And it's one of our best deals of the year. Buy one window, patio door, or entry door, and get the next one 40% off. Plus, get $75 off every window and get $500 off every door and pay nothing for a year. Our Black Friday doorbuster ends November 27th. For a free appointment, call 312-815.
Oh, how convenient that the special report just happened to end once the Paris Hilton segment was over. Oh, that's too bad. Did we miss Paris Hilton spending 7 minutes saying 11 words?
Move the cattle from A to B.
Disney's Wish, rated PG, only in theaters.
Husband, are you?
No.
Him being such a good bloke and all?
I'm driving out because he promised me a drove of 1,500 head of cattle.
What, to buy?
No, you goose, to drove. I'm a drover, right? I move the cattle from A to B. All right, I work on commission. No man hires me, no man fires me. Everything I own, I can fit in my saddlebag, which is the way I like it.
Oh, yes, it's all very outback adventure, isn't it?
That was a clip from Faraway Sounds, the latest concept from the visionary director behind the award-winning films like Elvis and The Great Gatsby and Moulin Rouge. Please welcome to the show, Baz Luhrmann. Did you just fly in from Australia?
I flew in from London.
Okay.
Which is just a short, quick trip.
Oh, yeah, compared to that flight from Australia.
That's long. I went
It's a long.
via Tokyo. I came London. I went Sydney, Tokyo for 2 days, London 2 days, here 2 days, and then I go off to other places for 2 days.
Is that your jet lag? That's how you treat jet lag?
You know, if you're Australian, you learn how you have jet lag systems. My system is, depending on the flight, like some flights are too short, you know?
Yes.
Like LA, New York, it's too short. You can't sleep by the time you get up, yeah?
Right.
Some, like Sydney, Tokyo, perfect. 8 hours, you get up. My rule is try and eat. Before you get on a plane, don't drink. I usually fall down on the second bit, but I try. You know?
Well, after you spend so many hours on a plane, you know, the cocktails come out because it's cocktail hour.
Yeah, I know. You're like, no. Okay.
All right.
I should.
I get it.
Okay.
Why did I do that?
You've lived in New York City for a while.
We have a wonderful, wonderful house here, Stuyvesant Square. It is so magnificent. It's huge. But our two kids have my youngest just graduated. My daughter is 20. She runs this kind of edgy nightclub and goes to college. It's a very empty house.
We love edgy nightclubs.
Well, do you like empty houses, though? Like
We like empty houses.
Yeah.
We're currently living in one.
Yeah. You know, it's like, in all honesty, it's just, without them, it's just too empty. We need probably something smaller, you know?
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I do like an edgy nightclub, too.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that during the commercial break.
Faraway Downs, a 6-part series from your epic film, Australia.
Yeah.
You wanted a second go at it? You wanted to make it you want to spread it out?
Well, I like to say blame Tom Hanks.
Okay.
Okay, tell me.
He's not in it, by the way.
Yeah.
But I was about to make Elvis, and Tom Hanks very famously gets COVID.
He was one of the first
people,
Yeah.
And then I'm like, we're in lockdown. What do I do? So I started to look at the footage, the 2.5 million feet of footage that I shot. And I just realized, you know, back then we didn't have episodic storytelling. And the big theme of the show, this idea of, you know, sort of taking an old melodrama like Gone with the Wind, but telling it from a First Nations child's point of view about this terrible, terrible thing that happened in our country where mixed-race children were taken away and put into compounds and families destroyed. I just felt I could lean into that theme in a better way. And so I worked with young Aboriginal pop stars making new music, graphics, and there's different plot points. Yeah, it's like a cousin to the film.
You are so good at bringing stories to life. And you are so good at casting. When you cast people, they seem like almost like characters in a book that step out of the book. If you know,
I know exactly what you mean.
When you cast people like Nicole Kidman and Hugh Jackman, how would you compare the versions, like from the film version to the series version?
Well, I think it's like they exist in their own right.
Right.
But Faraway Downs is like when a musician does a variation on a tune they've already done.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm like you know, Taylor Swift. It's not Baz's version. I love Taylor, but you know, but it is going back in and being able to dig deeper, more resonant. And Hugh and Nicole came in and did new voices and things. But really, I had the footage.
Yeah.
And I've been able to go to places in this that I wasn't able to go to in the film.
Because it lets the story breathe.
Exactly, breath. And some pieces really deserve episodic storytelling. I wouldn't redo Moulin Rouge like this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's a film I've done recently. That could lean into that. Maybe.
We started watching last night. The colors are beautiful. The music's beautiful.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, congratulations.
It's just
great.
gorgeous. We love having you.
Thank you, back. Faraway Down is now streaming on Hulu. We'll be right back.
If you would like to know more about anything you see on Live, log on to our website at livewithkellyandmark.com.
Special K is oven toasted to crisp perfection and tossed with yogurty goodness. Or maybe some red berries. Special K in so many craveable varieties, so you can do what's delicious.
Oh, her disgusting fruit crumble.
Welcome to the inbox. Wendy from Shawinigan, Saskatchewan, Canada, said, here's a photo of my attempt at making Kelly's apple blueberry crumble. It was delicious. We had it gone in less than 24 hours.
See, but she did it the right way in a pie crust and not the skillet. I prefer it in a traditional pie. To me, it's easier that way. The skillet confused me.
The skillet was Gelman's idea. Yes, skillet, like the cowboys did in the 1800s. My ancestors, when they were running brothels in the West. Yes, skillets. I own 9 skillets, and I use them to spank my wife.
Confused me. Bunny and Alan from Salisbury, North Carolina said, I made David Mullins. I'll never get used to calling him David Mullen. Dave Mullins savory Gruyere biscuits for Thanksgiving. They were delicious. I will be making them again. Here's Alan and me trying our first bite. Thank you, Mr. Mullen, for sharing your recipe.
They were delicious.
They were delicious.
Hey, Debbie from Battle Creek, Michigan.
Those biscuits made me want to fart in a handbasket and shove it over your mouth.
Mr. Mullen, for sharing your recipe.
They were delicious. Yeah, they were really delicious. Hey, Debbie from Battle Creek, Michigan says, we call the Buckeye candy Michigan acorns.
Oh, because they look like turds that come out of Mark's butt when he's lying.
Delicious. Yeah, they were really delicious. Hey, Debbie from Battle Creek, Michigan says, we call the Buckeye candy Michigan acorns. My daughter-in-law makes them as she is an Ohio fan, but my husband razzes her and calls them Michigan acorns as he tosses them into his mouth.
They are delicious.
Yes.
I would love to try them if your daughter wants to send some this way. Trina from Fontaine, Colorado said nightcap to the finish of Thanksgiving holiday weekend.
As far as fucking Kelly's fucking rich ass worth like $100 million says, oh, you know what? I'd like to try those chocolate peanut butter candies. I'd like to try the Buckeye candies. If you could send them to me for free, you know what? Just go online and buy some. You could fucking buy them, but no. She says, oh, I'd love to try those. If you could be a darling and just and mail them to me, go send me some for free. In fact, you know what? You pick up the shipping and handling. So I want you to pay money to give me free food that I can easily afford myself. Great. Good job. Fucking twiddly bitch and twiddly bitcher.
Yes. I would love to try them if your daughter wants to send some.
Or you could fucking buy them, you fucking cheap ass bitch.
Fontaine, Colorado said
Fuck
nightcap
Jersey.
to the finish of Thanksgiving holiday weekend. See that?
Maggie from Naples, Florida. Hi, Kelly and Mark. When I got home from work last night, my husband had the Eagles game on. I was upset that they were losing. I promptly changed to one of my Eagles t-shirts. 20 minutes later, our Eagles won. I think I had something to do with their good luck.
There you go. Hey, don't forget, on tomorrow's show, Jennifer Garner will be here.
Also, Brian Gumbel's here.
Oh my God. Bye, everyone. Bye. So we're going to do a little intro and then we'll soon be out. Thank you for watching. I hope you'd enjoy this episode, whether you cared for Jimmy and Amy Carter or Rosalind Carter. Amy's the daughter. Whether you liked missing Paris Hilton. What's your favorite part? Share it with me. And then share this video with all your friends. And like and subscribe to this video for the spirit of Christmas.
The View starts live right now. Signs of hope. Israeli and American hostages are released, including a 4-year-old who saw her parents killed by Hamas terrorists.
What she endured is unthinkable. We will not stop working until every hostage is returned to their loved ones.
As the truce continues, can President Biden find the middle ground in the Middle East to end the bloodshed? Hello, Dolly. The country icon stuns at 77 with an eye-popping halftime performance. Why were some viewers not cheering for her? And Chris Evans talks about joining forces with the...
Because that wasn't her real skin. It's very, very simple. She had pantyhose on that were flesh colored and covered her real skin. That wasn't like fucking clear pantyhose and that showed her skin you could see through. That was skin covered 100%. She had fucking varicose veins and bumps and warts and like hairs on her,
strange to you.
On her thighs and all that. So she's trying to fool, and then she's covering up her stomach too. That's not what she really looks like. And she was lip syncing too. So sorry, Dolly Parton, but you failed. That Thanksgiving performance was terrible. I'd rather stare at my dung just sitting in a pile on top of a marshmallow, wondering whether I should call it s'mores and stick it in my mouth. I just want to smell my own crap for like 7 hours instead of watching you lip syncing some fake ass Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. You ain't a cheerleader. You couldn't. This was your performance. You weren't dancing. You weren't doing that leg thing. You weren't doing any of that. Dolly Parton, you a fake. And if you like Dolly Parton, then like this video. But you know what? I'm never going to celebrate you, Dolly. You're a Miley Cyrus knockoff. Anyway, season 2, episode 58's a wrap. I'm going to go vomit. I'm going to draw a picture of Dolly Parton, cut it out, and then I'm going to wipe my butt with it. Right in between the cheeks. That's the end of whatever the hell I was watching. The Fill in the Blanc Top Podcast. Rest in peace, Amy. Amy's mom, Rosalind. And Jimmy Carter, too. We all know you're going to be soon afterwards because fun-loving Christians like you always go one after another. So may the Lord bless you and keep you. Happy November 27th. Hope your Thanksgiving was good. I'll see you next time for some special Christmas-themed editions. I love you all. And remember, right in my butt cheeks, Dolly. I'm going to take your face. I'm going to spread them open. And I'm going to take your chin and go right up.